And welcome to Walk the Plank, the podcast that takes a deep dive into the week that was and will preview the upcoming events of the weekend. Since we're shooting on Friday this time, Mr. Winters, we are back. This is week 17 of Walk the Plank. So coming off the winter break here, a couple of weeks off, not for school, but not really for athletics. We'll talk to Coach Teresa Dominish here from our she's our head coach for our girls wrestling program. I can tell you most definitely our athletes are not off. They might get off Christmas Day and maybe New Year's Day, and we'll dive into that a little bit. But while we're not in school, our athletes are still here. We're either practicing. We had multiple home events over the break. We had our girls and boys basketball teams at home on December 23rd, just a few days before Christmas. We had our big Pin City Invitational on January 3rd. So we'll dive into all that this week. But how was your break? Did you do anything exciting, or just sort of hung out?
It kind of hung out. We had a couple of Cavs games in the mix, but I think like most of the families around here, a little flu bug came through the house, so it took a couple of us down for a couple of days. But everyone's back and ready to go. And like you mentioned, a lot has happened since the last time we were here.
Yeah, so again, we're shooting this on a Friday morning. We'll sort of update everything that happened over break, and we'll preview all of next week's event as well. But we'll start. Coach Dominish, thanks for being here. How was your break? Not many days off for winter sports coaches. Not many people realize that. It's not like you get 2 weeks off. You might get a couple of days, maybe.
Yeah, I think we just had Christmas Day off.
Okay, right.
So,
all right. Well,
yes.
At least you got that.
Yes. And it was nice. It's nice not having to run the kids to school, and that at least takes one thing off the plate.
Sure.
So, but yeah, we keep going all through winter break, which I think is good.
Yeah.
It also keeps the athletes fresh because again, they're not having to worry about schoolwork, so they can focus more on their wrestling and what they're getting out of each practice.
Yeah, that's awesome. And our girls program, very similar to our boys, is having a very nice. Midway. We're not quite midway yet. We've still got a long way to go. The state tournament is not until like March 12th, 13, 14, somewhere in that range. So we've still got a couple of months left. We've been at it for about a month and a half or so. Wrestling started November officially, like November 13th, I believe. So how has the season been going so far here just before that midway point for us?
It's been kind of a mixed bag so far. We've had a few injuries that were not expected, and that has been a little challenging, I think, especially for the girls.
Yeah.
They want to get after it, and, for them having to be patient and rest their bodies and, wait until they're able to come back. I think that has been the difficult part of it. But we've had a great the girls that are participating, I feel like, are doing very well. Things are moving along great. We have 8 girls on the roster this season.
Okay.
3 of them are brand new, have never wrestled before.
Right.
So that has been kind of exciting. And so 7 of the 8 were able to compete at Madison for our first tournament and did very well there. And then we took Abby and Gigi to Women of Ironman, and that was the first time that we have had any girls compete in that tournament. And Abby placed 8th, so that was phenomenal. And then we've had a couple tournaments since then, and again, Abby did very well at Hubbard. She placed first there. And then she took a little time off with a little bit of a knee issue, but she's back and doing great. And a few of the other girls, Eva, our senior, she was battling a shoulder injury right at the beginning of the season. And so I think we're going to have, again, 7 of the 8 back on the mat this Sunday. We compete at Woodmore, so that's going to be very exciting to have everybody kind of back in force.
And for you, with some new girls on the roster, do you maybe get back to maybe attention to detail, kind of maybe some basic learning that maybe benefits your experienced girls as well? Like trying to show new moves and techniques and the right way to wrestle, I guess.
Yeah, we Dan and Jason Thomas do a great job up in the room. They kind of run the main part of the practice. And for the most part, what we do is our experienced girls tend to go with the more experienced boys, and they're on one side of the room. And then our middle school and our less experienced high schoolers, they are on the other side of the room. So the less experienced kids are getting a little bit more of a slower bring in because they're going with some of the middle school. And there's quite a few new middle school wrestlers this year on the boys' side. So that's helped a lot because, Jason and Jimmy Thomas will slow things down and really go over things nice and slow. And they're wonderful at working with the girls. And, Melissa Mann and I will be walking around, checking things out. And my husband ran quite a few practices prior to season starting, optional things that the girls could come to. So we had a few of those girls coming preseason just to start learning stuff early before season actually got started. And I think that helped them as well, because you're only dealing with, maybe 7 or 8 people in the room versus 30 people in the room. And it's not as intimidating to them.
And for you as a coach, is it exciting this year having more girls? I mean, obviously the sport continues to grow, but having a couple new fresh bodies and seeing what the middle school is bringing, is it exciting for you as a coach saying to be able to see that the sport is growing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And the energy that they bring is fun. 2 of the girls are cheerleaders. And so that was we were like, this is different.
How is this going to work? Right?
Yes. But the energy that they bring to the room is great, and they're game for anything. They are basically like, hey, we want to try this out. We want to see how this sport works. And, they're a little bit shy sometimes, but they always have a smile on their face. And I think that energy definitely helps and makes it more exciting as a coach because that, they're enjoying themselves. They're still here after 8 weeks of practice. So obviously it's we didn't scare them away.
Well, and I give them a ton of credit. Doing 2 sports in the same season is extremely challenging. We have kids that do it all the time. Every season we have kids that attempt it. Some make it the whole season, some don't, and I give them a ton of credit for sticking it out because, wrestling is not a easy sport at all in terms of the amount of training and the dedication to your diet and all that kind of stuff that goes into the attention to detail side. And now you mentioned Eva earlier, our one senior. We did have our senior night already. A little bit different this year. We gave it a shot because of a conflict we had at our previous dual meet. We weren't able to have our senior night, so Eva and our other 3 seniors on the boys' side got introduced prior to Penn City. I actually thought it went well. I was a little nervous, but it went well.
Yeah.
What has Eva meant to the program, in regards to being that senior leader and now having more girls to sort of interact with and sort of help lead? How has she helped us?
She's been a great role model. Again, she always has a smile on her face, too. Eva has a wonderful temperament on and off the mat. She truly loves the sport. And some of the tournaments she would come when she wasn't able to wrestle, and she would help warm up the girls. She would help get them ready for matches. She would help videotape, or she would sit in the coach's chair next to, one of us other certified coaches and, be helping with, okay, now you need to go here, and this kid's on deck. And, just a really good right hand when we needed her to be there, even though she couldn't compete. And that, as a coach, speaks volumes, that you have an athlete who, has to take the bench for a little while and not be able to compete, but she still wants to be there front and center helping out the program.
I was going to say, you've had a couple of meets so far, you still have a good bit of your season left. What are the strengths? What are some of the spots of improvement that you'd like to see maybe over the next couple of weeks as you start to get into, the state championship mode?
Yeah, that's kind of where the eyes are looking at this point. It's like, okay, we are now mid-season. We probably have maybe 4 tournaments left. And so, the focus at this point is take each tournament one at a time, work on the things that each person needs to work on, and consistently build so that, our goal as coaches is to hopefully have 4 or 5 state qualifiers this year. Mm-hmm. And so, it's take each tournament, figure out what each girl needs, what motivates them, what keeps them going, videotaping so we can go over the matches and go over with them. This is something that's, either a new issue or an old issue, and how do we fix it? And, and then also keeping them healthy. I think that Mary has done a great job as a trainer, mm-hmm. and the nutrition aspect for a lot of these girls, we've been very lucky this year. A lot of the girls are I would say within 3-4 pounds of their weight class.
Right.
So they're not having to do any kind of crazy weight cuts, and we don't want them to do that as girls. And it's something that we just talk a lot about, eating healthy and what are good choices and making good choices, because one of the things I always explain to the girls is if you aren't fueling your body correctly, I don't care how much practice you put in, you are still not going to compete well. Yeah. So that's always a constant conversation that, I'm having in the locker room with the girls as we're preparing for each tournament is, what are you eating? Are you eating the right foods? If you have to open a package to put it in your mouth, it's probably not a good idea.
That's a good rule. I should go by that too a little bit. I've never heard that before. That's pretty good advice. All right, so as we're getting ready for that postseason run, what tournaments do we have coming up? I know we talked a little bit about this last year. We don't have anything, there's not always close by. We're going, I know, to Bellefontaine in a couple of weeks. That's down south a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours. And sometimes, we were looking at the transportation requests and all right, I think the bus was leaving at 5:30 a.m. and you're getting back at 9 p.m. Those are long days, Coach. So what's upcoming here on the schedule over the next month and a half as we prep for that end of February-ish, mid to late February, when sectionals, then districts, and a state will happen?
So we are going to Woodmore on Sunday. That's 2 hours away.
Yeah.
And then the following Saturday, we go to Fremont Ross. Again, that's a 2-hour drive away. And then we have a weekend. I'm pretty sure we have a weekend off. And then the last weekend in January, we go to Bellefontaine, and that's 3 hours. Yeah. And then we go to Conneaut in beginning of February, and I'm trying to find another tournament towards the end of February just to keep the girls fresh right before
that sectional tournament. Yep. All right, Coach. Well, it's good to catch up with you. We'll do this little mid-season check-in here, and we'll have you back on the program as maybe we prep or as we get into that postseason run. We can update everything and check back in with you toward the end of the season. But congratulations on a good start so far, and best of luck the rest of the year. We'll have you back soon.
All right, thank you.
Coach Dominish from Girls Wrestling. Thanks for being here, Coach. Just exciting that the numbers are growing, and the middle school program will continue to feed it. And we started out with just a couple of girls, and now up to 7 or 8 varsity. So,
and as you continue to have success, it breeds more girls that are interested into the program, and you keep making those deep runs. And we had Abby a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure we're gonna have Gigi at some. The girls are there, and for them to give back to the younger kids is also a great thing as well.
It is, and we're going to transition right into our girls swim program and our athlete of the week. She's been here before last year. Noelle Griffith, thank you for being here. Noelle gets 2 things now. This is new, Noelle. You're the first one to get this, actually. You get the Raising Cane's box combo, and we're trying to keep healthy here, but it's a little tough when you got some fast food places that are sponsoring our podcast. So thanks to Raising Cane's. Thanks to Dairy Queen, as always, for sponsoring the program. Congratulations on a great start again to the season. I know when I talked to Coach Scheider, he was like, Noelle, is rocking it again. So how's the season been going so far on the eve of our own Perry Invitational here, which will be tomorrow Saturday, the girls' meet starts at 9:30 a.m. The boys' meet will start at approximately 2 p.m. So how's the season been going so far, Noelle?
It's been good. I've been told by a couple coaches that like the time I've been dropping so far has been good. And it's good because I'm not even to sectionals yet.
Right.
So far doing pretty well.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to get back to finals for states.
Okay. Okay. That's you.
We're good.
Okay. We're rolling. That little mini rolling blackout or something happened, but
Well, that was going to be my question. Do your goals change from last year? You had success last year. You made a nice run. Do your goals change from junior year to senior year?
Well, my goal last year was just to make it to states,
Right.
but this year I'm hoping to be able to go back from prelims to finals, and it might be a little, but I'm gonna try and break one of the records.
Okay.
But we'll see if that's gonna happen.
hey,
Are you close right now? Obviously, you know what the number is.
Yeah.
So, are we close to getting to where you need to be?
Kind of. I'm like about a half a second off in my 50, but it still takes a
and
lot.
that doesn't
to drop that
sound
time.
like a lot, but it's I mean, you've done this for a long time. Like it is a half second in the 50 is it's not a little amount of time. It sounds like a little amount of time, but I know you can do it, and it's great to have those goals. Whether you get there or not at the end, I think it's going to push you along and help you sort of stay focused on what the season has in store for you. How special is it, or what are you looking forward to swimming in the Perry Invitational? It'll be your last one as a senior. We have about 300 swimmers right now. I know Coach Seider actually told us last night we lost some swimmers. The flu has been going around, so we're down to like 275 now, I think, for the number of kids that will actually swim in our pool tomorrow. But still a big tournament for the girls and the boys. What are you looking forward to for tomorrow?
I'm looking forward to being able to swim against all of these schools.
Yeah.
And in my events, a lot of times I don't have the most competition because
Yeah.
it's like dual meets.
Sure.
So it'll be good to have some actual competition in the pool, but I'm hoping to win a couple of my heats.
All right.
What are you going to be swimming tomorrow, and what are your main event that you participate in?
My individuals are the 50 and the 100 free, and then I'm in 2 relays, but I'm mostly focused on my individual events right now.
Okay. And then previewing next week, we go right into our big tournament is tomorrow, big invitational, and then the CVC invitational is next week over, and actually this is new this year. Orange is hosting it, but it's at Cleveland State. So we're at Cleveland State next week for the CVC. What are some of the goals, whether it's a team goal or individual goals that we have here for Perry Girls Swimming?
For CVCs, I think we're hoping to win for the 7th year in a row,
Yeah.
but we'll see if that happens.
Yeah.
But I guess you said it's at Cleveland State?
It is at Cleveland
know
State
that.
this year. Yes, it's Orange cannot probably similar to our pool. Good pool just doesn't have the seating to host it. So it's down at Cleveland State. A lot of conferences seem to be either going there. Spire is a little too expensive, so we're at Cleveland State, and we're going to swim there. We just found this out. Sectionals and districts will be at Cleveland State as well. So this will be a little preview for about a month later when we'll be at sectionals there.
I guess it'll be good to get some of the people who are going into districts ready for swimming in that pool.
Yeah, it's fast pool, right? That's what I've been told. I don't know exactly what that means, but a little bit less wave action and a little bit calmer on the surface, so we can get some faster times. So, I'm sure as a girls team, you never want to be the team to break the streak of 7 in a row, but I'm confident you guys will go give it your best shot, and whatever happens, happens. But we have been fairly dominant on the CVC side, on the girls winning that championship for 6 years in a row. So it'll be exciting to see what happens next weekend.
And being a senior, did some of your leadership change? Are you taking more of a leadership role this year? Obviously, you were up there last year. You made your name for yourself for the last couple of years, being one of the dominant women or girl swimmers. Do you have any added pressure this year, being the senior, the one that maybe the younger girls look up to?
I guess a little bit, yeah, and especially as like a senior captain, I was in charge of some of the preseason practices, so it is a little bit more of like trying to get the team together. But it's not that bad.
And as you look at the girls' team as a whole, what are some of the strengths, some of the spots that still need maybe a little bit of improvement?
I guess just like some of our relays, we just need to work on some of the like transitions. But overall, I think we're doing pretty well.
All right, Noelle, I know you have to get to a calculus class here. The bell is going to ring momentarily. Let's see if we can rapid fire you through our getting to know you better questions. And I know you did this last year, but maybe some things have changed, maybe not. We'll see. Favorite food?
Probably like lasagna.
Okay. I like that. Any Italian food I'm good with.
Yeah.
Carbs are good. Favorite subject in school?
Calculus.
Calculus. That's why she can't be late. We got to get her there. Favorite movie or show?
Currently Percy Jackson.
Okay, that's on in my house as well. Hobby away from swimming or anything you do, whether it's, academics, swimming, anything outside of those two.
I crochet.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. I was just up in the makerspace yesterday, and they've got all kinds of crazy stuff up there. Pretty cool stuff I didn't even know we had. Favorite app or game on your phone?
My sister just got me back into Crossy Roads, so.
Okay. You have that?
I have not.
Okay.
I know of that one.
All right, you've heard of it. Favorite memory that you're going to take away from Perry, and maybe this is a new question from last year. It doesn't have to be athletics. It can be anything that you experienced as your time. You're going to walk across the stage here in 4 months and graduate. What are some of the things you're going to take away when you leave here?
I think just my last swimming season.
Yeah.
Just being able to be with my team.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And if you could visit any place in the world, money's not an object, where would you go?
I think Ireland, because my mom and my sister just went there.
Okay.
So.
Didn't bring you along, huh?
No.
All right, maybe next time. Maybe next time. It's good to have you on the show again, Noelle, and best of luck. We will update everybody as you go here. We've got about a month and a half left before we really start that sectional run. So best of luck in your goals, and we'll keep you updated. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Noelle Griffith, girls swimming.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's a big day coming up tomorrow on Saturday. So starting at 9 a.m., but 275, almost 300 kids here. It's going to be an exciting event, and it's a nice way to, I don't want to say kick off the season, but a nice midway break part of the season where you get everybody to come to you and you can swim here in your own pool.
Yeah, it is nice, and it's something that we've had. I mean, this is my 15th or 16th year here. We've had it this has been a tournament that's been around a long time. We just celebrated our 25th annual Pin City, and I know the swim Invitational's been around a very similar amount of time. So it's a sort of a tradition here, and something we take a great deal of pride in. You're going to see vendors here tomorrow selling T-shirts and sweatshirts and all kinds of food. The swim parents do a fantastic job. It's very personnel-dependent sport. Very similar to wrestling. Mm-hmm. If you came to Pin City last weekend, you saw a lot of parents and volunteers and former parents and former coaches and here helping at Pin City, running score clocks, helping in the hospitality area, and the same goes for swim. You're going to see that tomorrow. You're going to see parents in all of the lanes running stopwatches. Those are backups. We have a automatic timing system, but just in case, we have those backups for the that the parents run. They run the hospitality, they run some of the concession stand, they're making grilled cheese, they're doing all kinds of stuff to help raise money for the program. So I just want to give a huge thanks to all of those people who made Pin City run last week and in prep for our swim tournament tomorrow. All that goes into it. It's really appreciated, and it definitely goes under the radar for sure. No one really knows what goes into all of it. That's a ton of man hours that go into putting on an event like this.
Yeah, so if you're in the area tomorrow, come out. Starting at 9, boys will get going in the afternoon, but a nice day of swim here. Multiple events will be going on in the pool, so get out here and support both the boys and girls Perry swim teams, and I guess whoever else is coming, the other athletes that will be here. So get out and support them. Let's switch over boys basketball. We'll start with them because they are in action here tonight. 3-5 on the season, coming off a win earlier this week against Orange. Before we get into what's coming up for them, just the overview of their first 8 games.
Yeah, and it's been we're behind a little bit because of the football run. We didn't start. Most teams right now have 12 to 13 games in, so we're still playing that little game of catch up. But I know we used the break to sort of continue to have practice. Again, these guys, all of our teams are practicing pretty much each and every day and just prepping themselves because this really is now the grind of winter, so to speak. So December is, for a lot of our sports, Coach Trentinelli's calling me, so I don't know. He's supposed to be down here, but we may have to have him on next week. We'll see. But anyway, all of our sports use that December. They start in November, and then it just is what it is. The holiday, we're not moving the holidays around. We'd probably rather have a break, maybe a little bit, more like almost like late January, mid to late January, because that's sort of the midpoint of each season. But you use December, and then you're off for a couple of weeks. And again, they're practicing, but they're not playing as many games and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and so I think that's really what the boys did over that break, and we came out with a win here on Tuesday against Orange. Fell short against a very good Grand Valley team, and Grand Valley is a small school, and all that stuff. They're very talented. They have a great team, and typically when I get a phone call from somebody, a smaller school like a Grand Valley means they're going to be good and they're going to want to challenge themselves. And so we've been up or down, but we've won some close games. Our kids play extremely hard, and they never give up. We had a home game here against West Geauga. We were down, 10, 11 points. Came all the way back to force overtime. End up winning by a point in OT. Same thing with Lakeside the other day. A very tough matchup. They're long. They're athletic. We're down 15 points in that game, I believe, and make a run all the way back, tie it up, take the lead, and end up holding on. Nate Trevsger had a big 3-point shot, and that took us, got a stop on the defensive end, and we're able to get that W. So at Harvey tonight, JV's at 5:30, varsity 6:45 to 7 range. And then they are at Chagrin Falls. They've had a lot of home games, so now we're going on the road quite a bit. Chagrin Falls next week, at Hawken as well, and then we host Madison next Saturday. So 3 road games, and then our big rival with Madison will be next Saturday, the 17th.
Yeah, Harvey, a team that they already played to open up their season, which was a close game. Hawken was a closer game than what the score might indicate. So a lot of great competition coming up over the next week for the Pirates. So if you have to travel with them or come here to Spectator Gymnasium, a lot of good basketball will be coming up on the boys' side.
Yes, excellent, for sure. So come out and support the team. We'll bring up Coach Trentinelli. I know he's on a time crunch here. We appreciate your time, Coach, for coming down. Appreciate
thanks for having me.
All right, good stuff. Let's just dive right into it. We were just talking about we have our big swim invitational tomorrow. It's been going on 20-plus years. Pin City celebrated its 25th annual invitational here this past weekend on Saturday. How did that go? And let's just talk a little bit about. I love the day. I love the tournament. It's we're packed. We had a packed house. 16, 17 teams here. Just tell us a little bit about that day, and then we'll dive into the rest of the year.
Yeah, it was a great day for Perry Wrestling that day.
Yeah.
Everything seemed like it clicked. I know a couple of our competitions all went well, but, there were those little details that we all talked about that we tried to fix. I think a lot of those got fixed at the tournament. Leading up into the quarterfinals, we were maybe 4th or 3rd place as a team. And then when those quarterfinals and semifinals went through, our guys really, really pulled through. Some tough matches that they came on top of that could have gone either way, and a bunch of the guys came through on those semifinals. And even some of the guys that did not, they got into, say, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, 6th place matches where that put them in position to have success in the finals.
And, we ended up with 4 individual champions, 126-pound Cooper Schlau, 132-pound Landon Rusnick, Antonius at 165, and then arguably the match of the day was Trent Taylor at heavyweight, who was down, I believe it was 13-5, something along those lines, and ended up turning his kid and sticking him for a pin and in the second period. And it was raucous on both sides. He was wrestling a kid from Cathedral Prep, so they were all excited that their athlete was having some success early on. And then when Trent did what he did, the place went nuts.
Yeah, he used that freak strength. He's he's yes. not a he's a D1 football player.
Yeah,
and he just used his freak strength. It was a little unorthodox. Usually you don't tell guys to do what he did, but there's a few people that have gone through the program that could get away with it, and he's one of them. And it was real fun. The whole place exploded.
It did.
It was really cool to end the tournament on that note, which left with a good taste in my mouth.
Yeah. And overall, a second place team finish. Mm-hmm. First place was Cathedral Prep, one of the better wrestling programs in the entire state of Pennsylvania, as a footnote to that. So they came in, they're very strong, and it seemed like there were either Cathedral Prep or Perry kids peppered throughout the finals, whether it was the championship matches or the third and fourth place matches.
Yeah, they're a tough program. They're one of those programs that could go and grab guys from anywhere. And, and kudos to them. That's a game they have to play, and that is a struggle sometimes for those schools to find the right guys. But us using our homegrown guys, and it's really cool to be competing with guys like that at a consistent level.
Yeah, for sure.
And with the second place finish, is that kind of where you kind of gauge now? Like, this is the new standard of what you're expecting the rest of the season, or is that kind of where you guys have been all season long?
Well, we still have a few starters out, and even Chance Schlau, he took second. He's a little banged up. We have guys banged up, and hopefully getting some other guys back in the lineup. I think we become even stronger, and really with the lower weights, we kind of don't have anyone there, but in the dual meet scene, we might have plans for that. I don't know. I think we're in a good position to have a lot of success throughout the rest of the season, leading into postseason. I feel good.
And when you get to an event like Pin City, so in the basketball world that I work in, everyone looks at Christmas Day as like the day that the season technically starts, even though you've already had 20 games in a preseason. Is Pin City like your start to the season? Because you're getting your guys back, you're getting your football players in shape. Is that kind of like your
So I'd say,
kickoff?
We start off with the North Coast Classic, but we're missing a handful of football players, and some guys are coming late. So you really look at, we're just getting into it. Really, I'd look at Brecksville tournament, which was earlier that week. That's the barn burner. That's top 5 high school tournaments in the whole nation. And you're going out there seeing where you're at nationally, as well as in the state. When you get to Pin City, it's sort of like, okay, we went through that real tough tournament at Brecksville. You might have done everything right, but the guys, he's just ranked 5th in the nation. It's just he's at a different point right now, even though you're doing everything right. I think when you get to Pin City, there's really good competition there, but there's also, even competition, and you're not going against all these nationally ranked programs, but they're still real good programs. You could kind of see where you're at, without, taking, those, with those huge programs. I like it. We roll into it. It's a little bit of a grind because you have Brecksville at Monday, Tuesday, and then you go to Pin City Saturday. Including it's beautiful to host, but you're setting up, you're dealing with all that stuff. There's lots of stuff that goes into it that people don't see.
Right.
And overcoming that and dealing with that grind is important. And one of the things I'm real happy about, even though you got a bunch of guys that didn't place or didn't place as high, our average guys, I think, perform a lot better than the other team's average guys. And I think that's what helps you in terms like Penn City or even state duels, where it's your best guys are going to do their thing, but your average guys, our average guys are going to beat your average guys.
Yeah. Oh, and like you said, that's going to be huge as we're going to talk about the duels here coming up. But, I mean, just as another, Dante Villalobos Pacheco, he was on here a couple of weeks ago as our athlete of the week. He finished second. His brother finished second, Leo, at 150. We had, you mentioned Chance, and I know he was a little bit banged up. He finishes second.
A big one, Keegan Cole at 190.
Yeah, 190.
This is his first time really wrestling varsity consistently, and he beat some guys that like he was losing. I think in the finals he actually beat a guy that beat him earlier.
Yeah.
So he's coming along.
And
great.
Jackson Bezig at 175 finished third. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of guys in those top four
and there were
places.
a bunch of guys, 5th, 6th, 7th,
right
8th,
in the roll,
right in there.
And you're earning points that way.
Exactly.
Big points.
So it definitely helped out.
You mentioned Chance a little bit earlier. He joined us back in the soccer season. We talked a little wrestling with him. He has the goal of 150. So as someone that doesn't know much about wrestling, what does 150 mean? He told us what it meant to him, but for you to see a 150, what does that mean as a coach?
So getting down to 150, he's, you now have to watch your diet real good and get down there and you have to be perfect with your diet to get down there and be super disciplined and stay there. And his goals are really high this year. He wants to be on top of the podium. So, going from 57, where I think he has equal success, to 150, there might be a little notch where there might be a couple guys you're looking at where you might have more success. In this week, he should be able to get down there. And, it's, just be more disciplined. Your training changes just a touch. And a lot of it comes down to what you're doing outside the wrestling room. You're being disciplined diet-wise and things like that.
And the other part of the 150 was he wants to get to 150 wins as well. So for that part of it, I know he picked up 100 a little bit earlier this season. For him to get to 150 on the win side, what is that? What does he have to do? Maybe over the next couple.
He's going to have to win some matches.
He's going to have to win out.
He did have an injury, so he missed some. He missed Brecksville. He missed some of our duels at Garraway. So he's going to have to be perfect. But I know that's a goal of his. But it's taking one match at a time. Don't look ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's cliche to say that, but it's true.
Yep.
Right. Taking one match at a time and do the right things and improve, get better each day.
And then we're heading to Westlake this weekend for another tournament, and then over to Maumee Bay over at Oregon at Clay High School in the Toledo area next weekend. Another huge tournament. You mentioned the Brecksville one. This one it also brings in people from all over the country to wrestle. It's a multi-day tournament. It's one of the few multi-days that we do. What are you looking for over the next couple weeks? And then we sort of ease into the dual meet side of it, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, so we have the Westlake duels, which I think will be successful there. We're going to get some good matches. And then we go out to, like you said, Clay. And Clay's tough. Once again, it's one of those tournaments where it's tough. You got guys from everywhere. It's huge. And you're going against the top teams in the state. You're not just looking at D2, D3, D1 schools, big schools. And, a special thing with this tournament, we've seen a lot of kids in our program. This is sort of like their coming out party. One of those guys who really have a good season, all of a sudden they have a great tournament. Yeah. And it's like a springboard for the rest of their career or the rest of their season where all of a sudden they're doing real well. Great confidence booster if you find success in that tournament.
Okay. And do the duels, the Westlake duels, does that mindset help us get ready for that state duels, which will be coming up, early February?
It's a chess match where you're kind of moving guys around and trying to get matchups correct. And that's sort of like a dress rehearsal for that.
Okay.
And this might be tough and maybe not fair because it's like picking your favorite child. But is there a kid that you're looking forward to, that's right on the cusp? He's right on the verge of a breakout season, or you've seen enough in practice where maybe it's right there getting ready to translate on the mat during a tournament.
Yeah, two guys. Cooper Schlau's he's had a great month. He's really pulled through and beat some really quality guys where last year those guys were handling him. He has a little chip on his shoulder right now. Dante Villalobos, same thing. I think he's having a great season. Last year had a great season. He wanted to make that state tournament, was just like this close. Yeah. Both those guys I think are the guys that take that extra step.
Yeah, Cooper, obviously first place at Penn City, as we've said, had a great day here at Perry. And you mentioned the chip, like even in his picture on the podium, he wasn't smiling. He was all business. And he's all about it right now.
Yeah, he's focused.
Yeah.
So it's good. He's matured a lot over the last couple of years, and it'll be exciting to see what he does this year.
Very exciting. We've got some excitement ready to go. We're again about not quite to the halfway point yet, but as far as state duels, we'll find out when if we'll be hosting.
Yeah, we'll find out real soon
next
here.
Week or so.
Yeah, we did some voting yesterday.
Okay, some voting took place, so we'll know. We'll keep everybody updated on that, and then, Coach, we'll have you back on here whether it's a state duels or as we get close to that state tournament on the individual side as we start that sectional district and state run. But we appreciate the time, and best of luck this weekend at Westlake.
Thank you. Appreciate
it. Thanks for the time, Coach.
Coach, thanks. Yeah.
Nice seeing you.
You too.
All right. Dan Trentinelli, head wrestling coach here at Perry High School. Yeah, it was a fun Saturday for sure here last week, and had a lot of success. Second place finish was an awesome. We beat schools like Mentor, and we had 2 Indians here, Indian Valley and Indian Hill. Indian Hill is from Cincinnati, and people are like, how is that happening? And why does somebody from Cincinnati want to come up? And again, I just think it speaks to the quality of the tournament that is run and that is put on. Again, with all of the help that goes into it from, we have really good table workers. We have really good officials. We have a really good hospitality room, and all that is kudos to our volunteers and our parents and our former parents and coaches that come back and help.
Yeah, 4 first-place finishers, the 6 others that played. I mean, so you had 10 athletes that were up on the podium. Is just a fantastic event and a great, I don't want to say stepping stone, but a great, confidence boost for the rest of the season for the wrestling team.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I really like the dual. There's very few sports that have a big difference in how they compete. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of the times wrestling is in a tournament. And next weekend at Maumee Bay, last weekend at Pin City, it's a tournament, and you're trying to obviously finish as high as you can for your team. And so there's that side of it, and then the other side is that dual side where now you're competing head to head with one school, and your 106 versus their 106, their heavyweight versus their heavyweight, and you're compiling points, and everything matters. Whether you win by pin or you win by decision or major or technical fall, it's all point related, and it is, like Coach said, it's a chess match, and it's fun, and it really, I personally love that side of it. So I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to host some sort of state dual event here, which would be February 7th, I believe. That's a Saturday, first Saturday in February. So looking forward to that exciting part of it as well.
Yeah, and as we finish up the week 17 here at Walk the Plank, girls basketball, they improved 8-2, 6-0 within the conference. A little sluggish start on Wednesday against Lutheran West, but finally able to pull it out with a hot fourth quarter.
We had a huge fourth quarter. Yeah. All the threes that weren't falling, the first 3 quarters all seemed to go in. But that's a lot of fun when that happens, because then I think you just see sort of the spark, and the girls feed off of each other, and they feed off of each other's success. So when somebody makes a 3, and then the next time down another person makes a 3, then the same person makes another, and then you just sort of catch fire, for lack of a better word. And that's what happened on against Lutheran West on Wednesday, and we're essentially tied, or a very close game going into that fourth quarter. Then we were up at one point, we were up 16 points, and ended up winning by 12. A couple of late baskets by Lutheran West at the end, but really a great statement win for us in the CVC to remain undefeated. And but the girls will be challenged here coming up. We've got some tough games coming, and we do that on purpose because we want them to be challenged as we head into the post. Not that we're close to the postseason. I don't think our first sectional game will be until about February 18th or 19th. But so we have a month and a half before that happens. But we've got some juggernauts on the schedule. We have Mentor, we have Rootstown that come to mind. We're going to be challenged here over the next month.
Yeah, and it's Chardon's here on Monday.
Oh, Chardon, so there you go.
Yeah, Chardon, Harvey, and then Mentor. So this nice little stretch coming up. Chagrin Falls to close out the month. So yeah, as you mentioned, it's
Gilmore's on there in early February. Yeah, we're going to be challenged over the next month, and that's great because I think it's going to very similar to last year. We just want to prepare them for the postseason and what they're going to see, and it's going to give them even if it's a loss, we're going to learn more from that than beating a team by 30 points. So I'm excited to see where the growth of the girls team comes over the next month, and because like we talked at the beginning of the year, we did not know Like, all right, who's going to step up and score, and who's going to step up and lead? And Mia Lynch was just a player of athlete of the week for the News Herald. I mean, she had. I mean, let's talk about that game for a second, because I think we had her on, and then she had that game right after. Maybe it was the DQ meal that got her going. I don't know, but she was motivated that night. She ended up with 39 points and like 15 rebounds. One of the best games in recent history that we've seen from the girls' side.
Yeah, and when we had Coach on, he talked about the battle between, not really a battle, but a friendly rivalry between Mia and Emily.
Yeah.
Not looking at points, but wanting to come away with the most rebounds in every game. And each game they're putting up 10 plus between the two of them, which is just amazing that you have basically two walking double-doubles every game.
Yeah, the Cavs could use that right now, right?
Yes.
And I love the high-low game that they're able to play. Emily is a great pass. So is Mia, but they're both can feed each other. So when your one big is on top of the key and the other one's down low, that forces another big to come out. And so now it's just a one-on-one game, and they pass well, they rebound well, and they're scoring. Our outside shooting, like we talked about, caught fire the other night, and that's going to come and go in the game of basketball. But, yeah, it's just an exciting time, and we'll see. We're at Chardon. We'll host Monday. So come on out Monday night, a little bit of a weird – we play 2 Mondays in a row. Home to Chardon on the 12th and at Mentor on the 19th. So 2 formidable games for the Pirates coming up.
Yeah, and then the last 2 sports to talk about, gymnastics and club bowling for both boys and girls. Yeah,
and again, same thing. Like we're consistently just rolling along. No pun intended on the bowling side. Like they are. I give them a lot of credit. Again, 2 similar situations. They have to leave here and go off campus. In bowling's case, they're going to Sunny Lanes in Geneva. Gymnastics is going to Legs and Mentor. They're going there to practice. They're going there to compete. They're on the road to compete. Very similar to wrestling. Sometimes gymnastics has to go. They're going to Cincinnati. They're going to Medina. They're going all over the state to compete. And just a ton of credit to those kids. We've got our CVC bowling tournament coming up in early February, and then the postseason for both of those will be upon us here shortly after that. So less than a month away from both of those postseasons. So we'll keep everybody updated as we get into that point.
Yeah, so as we wrap up Week 17, boys are in action tonight here on Friday, so go out and support them. Tomorrow, big swim meet starting at 9 a.m. And, of course, as we've talked about a bunch, wrestling will be in action. So a lot of events coming up this weekend. Yeah, definitely. And our athlete of the week this week on the male side, in case you were wondering who wasn't able to make it down today, Leo Villalobos Pacheco. We'll have him on the show next week. Coach Trentinelli probably doesn't want me to give him these gift certificates anyway, so we'll have Leo on next week along with our other 2 athletes of the week. So we might have 3 athletes next week. But Leo, for his second place finish at Penn City, had around a 500 record coming into that event and really, really wrestled so well and ended up taking second and lost to a Cathedral Prep kid, I believe. So it's one of those things that, like Coach Trentinelli said, that coming out party potentially at Maumee Bay if you wrestle well, I think for Leo is a huge step to come in second place and wrestle so well at Penn City. Yeah, and then that's the part. That's the exciting part now that wrestling is continuing to have that success in, with the other sports that are going on as well. It's another fantastic run for all the winter sports teams coming off of the success that the teams had in the fall. Yeah, it's just a great time, exciting time. It is the grind. We've got 2 months now straight where we're going to be here each and every week, so please join us as we wrap up Week 17. Our plan will be, it is a Friday. It's a little bit late in the game for us, but midpoint of next week, Week 18, will be here. Until then, go Pirates.